Last time on the Incorrigible Party. Continuing his battle with withdrawal symptoms, Rumpke begins to hallucinate Happy Lilton's return and receives a tactical map of Storm Cape City marked with 3 distinct factions that only he can see and interact with. All of this after a face-to-face encounter with a dwarven god, calling Rumpke by another name, beckoning him to seek the true enemy.
Hellcrook! I think I know what we need to do. You done with breakfast?
Well, I just... You didn't give me enough time to finish making it. I need another minute or two.
I don't need it. We gotta go to the docks.
The docks? Wow. What's at the docks?
That's where the Veritas are. They're the true enemy. I figured it out, I think.
Enemy of whom?
I think they're the ones causing all the problems. I mean, it only makes sense. That's what Clangeddon's telling me.
Is Happy still here?
I look around the room.
Happy was never here.
No, he's not around right now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Look, I know you think I'm crazy, but I'm just telling you. You know, there's all kinds of weird things that's been happening here. Ripping people's heads off and all kinds of weird stuff. This is just another one of those weird things.
Yeah, but like you're withdrawing from drugs. So...
On top of the weird things.
Until I see other proof, I don't...
You know, Opal, sometimes the mind is a mysterious thing, and I think some of what Rumpke's saying sort of makes sense.
Yeah, what are they doing here? Why did they take the wagons from Lehan? What are those guys doing here anyway? We should probably find that out.
This could be, maybe some guidance from, I don't know.
Klangabang or whatever?
Forces bigger than us, maybe.
Here's the thing, didn't we see their boat that one night in the harbor and we never heard about anything happening, so...
Yeah, they're sneaking in.
It does seem very unusual that the Veritas are coming into the city, with no mention of why they're here, and...
Maybe it's a need-to-know basis and you don't need to know.
Well, what don't we need to know about? What are
Well,
they
we
up to?
were a little preoccupied, I admit.
We're not exactly city officials here.
Happy is if he's really around.
Not anymore.
And Opal, looks at the ground.
I mean, certainly sounds like these Veritas guys are bad dudes, at least from the little bit that we've had an interaction. So, maybe they have something to do with all the other stuff that's going on. The bombings, the head guy, the tree. Maybe they're part of this whole thing.
The Trinity don't strike me as the most sophisticated of thugs or gangs, Maybe you've got a point, Rumpke. I wonder if the Veritas, they could be a lot more organized and capable of pulling the strings behind, the curtain, so to speak.
Well, it makes sense. Down here on the map, it has them here at the port, and then they're over here out where you guys said you buried the body.
What map? There's no map.
And I pull the backside of my thing that I'm writing all the
Your symptom sheet?
symptoms down on. My symptom sheet. I go, that map. It looks like.
Actually, we buried the body up this way.
Yeah. It's out the road there, right? Where you said you saw giants and stuff.
Yeah, no, that is where we ran into the giants. Well, Rumpke, are you in any shape to be going and doing this right now?
I don't think we have any choice. I mean, I can't. I don't feel great, for sure.
Opal, what do we know about helping Rumpke? Do you got anything that can keep him going?
No. More drugs. I could figure out how to make these sleepy potions or whatever the heck you took. Who did you get it from again? I mean, I could try to talk to my friends, my connections.
We picked it up at the store. So, Leland, how am I feeling at this juncture after 3 days? What's my demeanor?
Well, I mean, again, you're still kind of nauseated and obviously tired, like you're suffering from three levels of exhaustion. You're not dead on your feet. I think you would still feel fairly capable. Like, you're not debilitated. but obviously, like, you're not getting any better. And now with the advent of this new, new development of the hallucinations, while you believe what you're seeing is completely real and can't be convinced otherwise because of your failed wisdom save, I mean, it's clear to the others that this is all part of whatever this withdrawal process is from taking stupor. So whether or not those hallucinations may become more increasingly frequent, increasingly vivid, up to be determined, but a distinct possibility moving forward. The one that all of you could easily put together yourselves.
I think if we're going to do it, it's better we do it now, before I get worse.
Before you leave this reality.
Yeah, I suppose that's not a bad point, Rumpke. Well, if you're going, I'm not letting you go by yourself. You need someone to be there to make sure everything goes okay if you get into trouble.
All right, let me put my shirt on.
We're going right now?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really up for breakfast, really, and I don't think Hellcrook really made anything yet, did you?
Well, you told me you wanted it. Now you changed your mind.
Well, I started smelling what you were cooking. So it turned my stomach. No offense or anything, just...
Offense taken.
Okay, so you've gathered supplies, you all have, hoods you could put on. Rumpke, I will tell you, you don't need to roll or anything to recall this, as I think this was a fairly defining moment as of recently when you murdered the supposed, alleged perhaps, member of the Veritas in the ring a couple weeks ago. You do recall that in the ring, this person, his name was Wayne, as per the announcer before the fight, did recognize you. He called you forge-worn scum.
Right.
Somehow, whether it's recognition of your face or perhaps some of your tattoos, your numerous tattoos and markings that you were constantly on display, he had some way of recognizing you of being as part of this organization, an organization that, again, with kind of the knowledge of Senta, is one of those big three, like, mega corporations and organizations that participate and vie for control of the Zillium deposits in these mineral wars, of which we are in the midst of Mineral War 3, hence the NW3. Whenever you reference a date, you're in this era. So there's some way without, so is what I'm getting at is that some type of disguise would probably be advantageous for you if you're attempting to get close to somewhere where you believe the Veritas would be.
Now, we did, I believe, pick up some different items like disguises and cloaks.
Yes, you did get a number of things.
Where from? You went shopping at what's the Halloween store that pops up?
Yeah, exactly.
Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, Spirit Halloween.
Spirit of...
We didn't have a lot of money, but it'll do the job. But
you got a 6-pack of fake mustaches from Spirit Halloween on the corner of the Wares District.
I already have a mustache. So the only thing I could think to do is if we have some way to cover my tattoos.
Put a cloak on.
Some kind of makeup of some kind that we got at the disguise place.
Yeah, I mean, somebody has a disguise kit, right? That could have been, if someone doesn't start with one, perhaps Kalia does, but that would be obviously something you could have picked up when you were doing some kind of your supply run, as you went to a number of stores. You went to Adventure Ho, you went to the potion shop. Absolutely, you easily could have picked something up like that. I'll just have somebody roll to use it, that's all. And we'll see how good a job they did.
I'll bring this up. I'll say, hey, the guy in the ring, he recognized me, maybe from my tats. I'm just starting to remember who I am now. I mean, Clangadin called me Olmok. That might be what my name was. So they might know who I am. So I think maybe if anybody got some makeup or something, we can cover up my tats, put on the cloak.
That's a weird name to hallucinate.
Olmok.
I mean, it does have a good ring to it. It's a strong name.
Olmok Dumpster. I could get used to that.
I can do makeup, if you want.
Yeah, I did your hair. Seems like it's only fair.
Yeah. On that topic, notice I shaped it up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. It was my first time.
Opal, if you were going to be attempting to
I'll do
use
it.
this disguise kit, go ahead. You can make me. We'll just make it a sleight of hand.
11?
You get as good a makeup job as you received a haircut. So that's fairly fitting.
As long as it covers up the tattoos, I might look a little weird. But I'll blush and...
Your tattoos are fully covered, but you kind of look like a geisha.
Oh, you are like pale.
You're very pale.
With a
It's just
mustache.
white powder, yeah.
And like rosy cheeks.
So, are we all taking a trip down to Stormcape Bay to try to survey what's going on down there? Essentially just kind of looking for like confirmation of Veritas activity there?
The first thing I want to do is see if the ship's there, and then if we get really crazy, maybe go onto the ship and see what's on the ship.
So Hellcruck has confirmed that he will be going with Rumpke. Ladies, Opal and Kylie, are you going to accompany them or continue with researching? What's your plan?
I'm gonna go. I'm feeling a little burnt out of researching. I need a little fresh air. I can be convinced that there's something to this hallucination, perhaps.
Opal, shouldn't we continue researching and see if we can find out more information?
You want Hellcruck to watch out for Rumpke hallucinating, looking for bad guys that Rumpke killed one of them? Like, we need to be backup. You need to come.
Okay.
Even just for a few hours, if it's nothing, we can leave. But, like, I'm a little nervous right now.
Okay. Let's go to the docks.
Wagon time?
Yep. Wagon time.
I think I'd like to sit up front with Hellcruck if he's going to ride the wagon, so I can talk to Hellcruck on the way. Shotgun! Since Hellcruck is supposed to be helping me through, what I'm going through, as we're going, I want to sort of talk to him. Hey, Hellcruck, I think there might be something to this Clangedin God guy. I think I might have been like a follower. I might have been, I might have some power and stuff, like we saw.
No, I'm right there with you, Rumpke. Something's going on. It seems like your past is starting to be reawoken or activated again. How else do we explain your ability to heal and these tattoos behaving the way that they are?
I know the other two think I'm crazy, but this is real. I saw him. He hit me. Told me to wake up. I felt it. It was real. And I've seen these other things that I've seen. It happened. It's something that really happened. I really think the Veritas is the problem here, and maybe I need to go see a cleric. I need to find out how I can, contact this Clangedin praying or whatever. I mean, I'm not one to believe in it, but it's so real.
Yeah, there's something to this, Rumpke. I agree. I don't know what the next best step is for you to find out more information, but I'll help however I can.
Well, you know about this religious kind of stuff, right?
Well, I mean, a little bit. You might try meditation. I can sometimes connect you with different parts of yourself that you're not used to connecting with. I could show you a thing or two.
It's worth a try, yeah. I prefer that to than, like sacrifices and stuff.
Yeah, no.
I've heard a lot of weird things about religion. I don't want to get into. Hopefully, I'm not one of them.
No, I'm not into that stuff either, really. More so into horses and shoveling and occasionally meditation.
Yeah, I'll take the meditation.
Yeah, it's a deal, Rumpke, but we gotta wait till there's some peace and quiet, and it might be tough in the state that you're in. Maybe, I don't know, we could try, but it might be easier when you're over this whole stupor stuff.
Yeah, this is not good.
Or maybe the stupor's helping unlock something in your mind, too. I don't know. This is new territory for me.
That is a thought. Maybe that'll help me connect.
No, I'm not saying you need to have more of it. I'm just...
Well, no, but you got a really good point there. This stuff might be opening my mind up, giving me better options and stuff.
Oh, goodness. Well, let's just put a pin in that, and we'll talk more about it later.
All right, watch out. There's a kid up there. You're going to hit the kid.
Oh.
I sort of grab the reins and pull to the side.
Emily, could you roll me a d10, please?
6.
Thank you. A 6 means that today is a rainy day on the weather table. So up front here, outside on the wagon, Hellcrook and Rumpke, you're getting a little rained on here. Now, what's the plan here? You just want to do kind of a drive-by of the docks in the wagon here? So you know that along the bay, Importer Street and Exporter Street kind of run this little kind of semicircle of the bay. Obviously, docks connect to both streets. Both streets are actually severed by a section of the desolate domain that's been walled off. So you can't run from, the northmost point to the southmost point of the bay all along that one street anymore because of what happened, in this section of the city 20 years ago with the Prowlers Guild going up in flames, etc. All of which you've, tangentially been related to with dealing with Benito and Zelmo. So you can still obviously navigate to both of those streets in this wagon. Out on the street, you're moving in, you're approaching into the late morning, into the middle of the day. Plenty of additional traffic on the street with you despite the weather. So it's definitely, it wouldn't be unusual for wagons to be coming and going from the dock. So you don't have to worry about standing out as far as a wagon being there in general. What exactly you want to do? You want to park it and then go on foot elsewhere? What's the plan?
I think we're just looking for the boat. So I think we would ride in the wagon up and down the road looking to see if we can find the ship initially. And if not, then we go to the other side. Sort of try to go all the way around the Cape to find where this ship is.
Do we just head to where you saw Veritas on your map?
Yeah.
That would be the first place, yeah.
On his map, it's up in the north on Exporter Street, right?
That is correct, yeah.
I think we would go there, and we could maybe even just park the carriage for a bit and just watch people coming and going for a little while. Might be, I don't know.
That's fine. You're driving.
Well, okay. So as you make your way kind of up Exporter Street, you can kind of take it. You have to go through the corridors here, right, to get around this part of the desolate domain, all of these walled off sections. And you do find a Veritas ship. Again, you recognize the encircled cross, which is their crest. And you see more than one ship now. You actually see 3 ships here are docked in this northern section of Storm Cape Bay. And you see a number of clearly Veritas members. They're clad in kind of a similar armor that Lehan described to those that spoke to him about the troop that had come in and demanded to take some wagons for their own use. And in addition to them, they're kind of just posted up outside of their ships, right? There's clearly more personnel on the actual decks of the ships. Again, even in the weather conditions, this is all kind of very visible in the middle of the day. You see there's, you almost kind of cross paths with a small group of Veritas moving across the street, clearly coming from somewhere in the city back to the docks here. There's this one strange-looking fellow. He's very short, balding, kind of squat-looking. He looks like his armor is 2 sizes too small for him. This is somebody that Lehan describes to you as well. You put together that this is Envoy Ventus Kaito of the Veritas organization. And he's basically encircled by 6 or 7 of these Veritas warriors, clearly part of his escort, and they just appear to be moving back to the ship. He, speaks to a few of them posted up at one of the docks here, and then he basically walks onto the first of these three ships. Again, this is far more, Veritas personnel here that you've
ever witnessed, right? I mean, you saw a single ship come in, and when they arrived, it was very clear they were arriving purposefully under the cover of darkness. Like, you saw them, they snuffed out all of their lanterns they had up on deck. They completely, like, went dark and just basically coasted in the rest of the bay here. So obviously something has changed since then, and that was at this point 5 or more days ago when you had originally went into the prison and now coming out, maybe closer to 10 at this point. So obviously something has changed. They're very clearly not obfuscating their presence in Stormcape City anymore, and more of them have seemed to arrive.
Where did they look like they were coming from? You said from the main part of the city, like.
From this section, they could only have been coming from the Quarrelers or perhaps from the plateau, as the plateau lift is basically, between the Quarrelers and the storage system North District here.
When we came back from prison, did you say at one point in time it looked like somebody was going up the elevators at night?
When you were first going to meet Oln at the beach, yes, on your way to get into that back door into the Stormcape prison, somebody was coming down the elevator from the plateau.
And the ship was coming in.
And the ship was coming in. Yes, that's exactly.
And then on your
right.
map, there were Veritas up on the cliff?
No, so the vision or the map that Rumpke has sketched out for all of you, there's no troops or anything was marked on the actual plateau. It was clearly, distinctly, this group that Rumpke surmised is most likely the Veritas at the bay here. The only other closest organization Rumpke believes to be the Trinity was at where the prison's entrance is.
And there were 3 figurines by the docks, and now there's 3 ships.
I believe that is true, yeah.
Well.
So it seems like the Veritas might be coming here to make some kind of deal for some of the minerals. The Zillium. Possibly.
So Zillium is like that incredibly rare substance that is so highly sought after that nations go to war for. And Zillium is said, you all know, the Zillium is said to basically, essentially limitless applications for this type of mineral. Like if it's weapons or armor, they could be imbued with the most powerful magic, like that. Like it is like an ore, basically. Think of it as like an ore type of metal.
And they're on the map out here past Lehands too. So maybe there's something to do with the giants and the minerals. Maybe this is all about minerals and money.
Sure, yeah.
Most things do come down to being about money.
You kind of make more sense than I thought you would, Rumpke, but
You're just now paying attention.
Right, so now that we're here and we see dudes, what now?
That's a good question. I
Should we figure out where they hang out and try to eavesdrop or something?
That's a good idea, yeah.
I am hungry. We never really got breakfast.
Well, I was trying to make some.
I know.
Apparently, nobody liked the smell of my cooking.
I think the key word there was trying.
Who's the sneakiest? Maybe you, Kylia?
Why can't we just go together?
Well,
I'm
no,
hungry.
I'm just saying maybe Kylia could get a little bit closer and maybe hear something.
Are there like little taverns right there, like where the ship people works on the ship come out and they get their ale and all that? Is there something that might be open that serves food at this time of day?
No, not since the Desolate Domain was formed and cordoned off. Unfortunately, the nearest inns and taverns were located there. So the closest would be into the Quarrelers exhibition.
There's probably somewhere that they go for some food and a drink, or they couldn't just be living on the ships for days and days and days. Well, I guess they could, but
We got to know more. I think if this is the true evil, as Clangeddon's saying, there must be something more than just minerals. Maybe we got to get on one of them boats.
Are you sure that's what he said?
Yeah, I remember it clear as day.
We're not sure about this.
Should we go flirt with them, Kylia? I've got a nice buzzed cut.
You can do that if you want.
No, I mean, you two could go talk to them, ask them who they are, what they're doing here. Just sort of inquisitive-like.
I don't know. We haven't been watching that long. We could spend a few hours.
Are there other people walking around, or would it be like super awkward to just be like parked here?
You don't see any other like wagons parked along the street. I mean, you've been here for a number of minutes already, kind of discussing this. I imagine you're not immediately in front of, the docks of these ships here, obviously. And like, look at them. Again, though, it would be very easy to go to the nearest station and drop this wagon off and come back on foot.
Does it look like it's guarded well, or does it look like, anybody could sort of walk onto the ship without much, like if you're carrying a package, nobody would really question it?
No, it looks like at the very beginning of every dock that leads to these 3 ships, there is at least 2 Veritas warriors posted up, like literally on like a guard duty. And obviously, again, you can see a number of crew members on the decks of the ships as well. And would anybody have any knowledge about like ships these size? Why doesn't each of you give me maybe survival or history? I'll let you pick.
12 for Hellcrook.
18 for Opal.
13 history.
11 for Rumpke.
I was really good at school. I paid attention.
Okay, yes. So Opal, obviously you grew up in this coastal city. I mean, so did Hellcrook, but he spent a lot of his youth and early adulthood behind bars. But Opal for sure would guesstimate that ships these size, like these types of like long ships, they're clearly more akin to a warship rather than like a standard cargo ship that you kind of see at other berths along Stormcave Bay. They would house like a manning crew of 20 to 30 crew members just to maintain the ship during long voyages, especially, in addition to another 20 to 30 passengers and or cargo that they could carry. So a large number. These ships are capable of transporting a large number of troops if that was their strict purpose,
or a large number of illegal supplies.
Well, I do believe there was a number of days ago a posit by Kylea that perhaps after you saw the ship coming in, that it had something to do with perhaps the green type of stupor. I think that was thrown around for a bit there. Perhaps that plays into more of what you're witnessing here as well. Perhaps, as Rumpke surmises, it has something to do to maybe Zillium or the war in general. Again, you all also know, like, part of the reason Stormcave was founded, again, not this specific area, because it happened to be, the founders were shipwrecked here and ultimately settled here, but they were clearly leaving to get away from the events of the Mineral War.
The mineral being Zillium?
Correct.
I will relay all this information to them and be like, these ships are massive, but also there's at least 20 people guarding them, so that's 60 people minimum, and 4 of us. One of us questionably, like, oriented.
I don't think we're getting on that thing. So, maybe we see where this envoy Vincent Kaido guy is going. He's been here for 5 days.
Just watch his movements. We've been here 5 minutes. Let's just stake out a little bit.
I think he might be our best shot. He seems important.
Leland, you said, was it him that is wearing armor that seems way too big for him?
Way too small.
Too small, I'm sorry. And is he much larger than people around him?
No. He's kind of actually short for a human. It's just like clearly ill-fitting armor. You wouldn't think that he'd be very combat capable.
Is he fat?
This is a new role of some sort.
He is a little larger, yes.
So he's chafing.
He's portly.
Like the armor fit him once and he grew out of it.
I think they put the armor on him.
I think he's someone's Nepo baby and got thrown in this position.
If he got fat, they'd give him new armor if he's important.
Not if he doesn't ever wear it. And he's like, oh, he didn't. He had to throw it on and he didn't realize how much weight he'd put on when he had to put this armor on again.
Oh, man.
Listen,
that would never happen.
It's too me IRL.
I swear by it up and down. He has a family member high up in the ranks. That's gotta be it.
you wear your track pants every day for a while, and the next thing you know, you got to put your jeans on. They don't fit anymore.
Yeah, you got to put on your spring clothes after winter, and it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, why is he wearing sweatpants? Would people be able to go up the lift to the upper level without... Do you need to have, like, permission to do that, or can anybody from the streets do that?
No, anybody is able to use a lift. It is 10 gold to use the lift.
Ooh.
It's just incredibly unusual because generally the normal Capian has no business up there.
What if we took the road up?
Why though? What do we need up there?
The road is not blocked, and that road is predominantly used to move supplies up and down from the city proper to the plateau. So having a wagon is definitely less conspicuous going up the hill rather than if you were to walk. But again, that's what the road is used as a good transport, not like foot traffic.
Okay. I'm just thinking if the envoy goes up there to make some kind of dealing, we're going to follow him. If we get on the elevator with him, it would be out of place. Or we would have to pay some money. It'd be a reason.
Could be awkward. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have we seen him do so far?
You basically nearly ran in, as they crossed the street, almost nearly running into them, and he boarded one of the ships.
Do we see any of the carriages that they got from Leehand?
You don't see any Veritas specifically interacting with any type of wagon or carriage here at the docks.
Because they took some from Leehand, right?
That's what he said, yep.
And none of those carriages are sitting out in front of the boats or...
No, I mean, if you recall, Leehand has a monopoly on all wagons and carriages, so every carriage and wagon used within Stormcave City, it does belong to Leehand Carriage Services. So, again, you don't see Veritas specifically interacting with any type of wagon or transport.
There's nothing going on here. Let's go do something else.
It's been like 10 minutes. I know you want to research giants and stuff. Rude.
I mean, she's got a point. I don't see him doing anything evil.
Okay, so they're here. You had them in your imaginary map, and they're here. So now what?
Well, they're also out the road here on the imaginary map.
Let's go to the other places on the map and see if the people you think are there.
Like a scavenger hunt.
I still have the map that I drew for you guys. Well, we know who these people are, and I point at where the Trinity is. You might be more knowledgeable about these guys, and then I point to where we think the peaceable patriots that are inside where the castle is.
Well, who do you think that is?
Well, this is the terrorist group, they'd say. The ones that blew everything up.
None of them in there.
We don't know that those particular figurines on the map are peaceable patriots, but one of the locations that they are is where the peaceable patriot headquarters is, right?
Yep.
Let's go visit Zelmo and stuff. Show me your map.
How do you know Zelmo's not part of this peaceable patriot terrorist organization?
I don't freaking know, but we're contracted to him, so I might as well share our information.
Olin has told you that Zelmo is currently out of town, which is why he came and gave you an advance payment for next month. So, again, there's nothing stopping you going to the castle and, confirming that Zelmo isn't there. But, to your knowledge, Zelmo shouldn't be there.
Would we be in trouble for going when he's not there?
Ask Kylea.
How does Zelmo feel about guests when he's not home?
Generally, there's no guests at the castle.
Well, Kylea, you're not really a guest per se, and we're just your friends coming along.
Generally, friends don't come back to the castle.
Friends don't let friends castle. But we castled!
You have been there, so...
Yeah, I think it'd be okay just this one time.
What do you want to do there?
Well, just look around. On the map here, there's these little figures inside the desolate domain, which is kind of close to the castle.
We don't know if that's a good idea when Dalmo's not here.
So these figures, are they Zelmo's castle, quotes, doesn't take up that entire block of the city, right? It's within that area.
Yeah, obviously the desolate domain comprises a number of ruined buildings. It's a fairly large swath of the city. So yeah, you're not looking at pinpoint accuracy, as you would again if you're thinking of a combat tactical map. moving, ships across the sea. Obviously, there's no immediate accuracy to exactly where they would be located, but simply this is like a general area. And other than the castle, there's nothing in the desolate domain. Like, nobody lives there except for the inhabitants of the castle.
That's what we're led to believe. On this map here, and like you said, maybe this isn't to be taken exactly, but within the desolate domain, it looks like these figures are kind of in like the lower left corner. Where would that relate to Zalmo's residence?
Right smack dab on it.
Is it?
Yeah. If you look at the map and you look at the other map.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, okay.
And then the Peaceful Patriots are also at the Stoneworks. And then at the city side of the city, that's where they're headquartered.
You don't know that symbol means peaceable patriots.
We're assuming.
Leland's all but verified this.
We're assuming because
I have verified
the headquarters of the Peaceful Patriots have those figures.
But that doesn't mean anything. That could, whoever it is, could be infiltrating the Patriots.
It could be, but it's doubtful.
So let me tell you.
Finally, he's going to tell us how to win.
No, I'm gonna obfuscate more. I'm going to give you more information and more shotgun. So, amidst the single figure that is shared amongst these three spots, amongst those three locations, there seems to be three other factions or people. Like, obviously, you have the Peaceable Patriots at the headquarters. At the Stoneworks, that is the Masons Assembly. That's the stoneworking guild that Rumpke used to be a part of, because they control and own that and mine, and it's where the city gets most of their mineable resources for export and building within the parameters of the city. And then, of course, you have at the castle, which is all Zalmo's domain.
What's the link?
It could be they're just all underground powers of the city. They pull the strings, right?
They're
inside
all
the city.
Bad people.
Let's cut the strings. Let's cut them.
The Trinity are the drug lord people, and then the Veritas.
Emily, you're supposed to get offended at my comment.
That Zalmo's a bad person?
Yeah, he's bad
I
people.
cannot argue that.
He pays well.
Okay, well, the only other place we could get any information then is to go out where the Veritas went. We could get in a wagon, go out where the Veritas went when they were somewhat chasing you guys, and see what they're doing.
Yeah, we could.
You're talking about like go out of the city west, like toward the.
Yeah,
remember that'll be like days travel out.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to go to like the crossroads where the rest of the party had to turn around and come back, that's obviously going to be, you can't get there and back in a single day.
All right, fudge. I keep thinking it's closer than that.
Where you buried Benito's body is closer, and that's where you first saw the wagons approaching that night. So how much further past there they went, obviously you have no idea, because you booked it till you were, far ahead of them and completely out of sight. So somewhere between, Benito's grave marker and this crossroad, or further, I guess, anything past Benito's grave marker is where they could have went. Now, that was 3 days ago now, and there, if who you think was in those wagons is who you just saw, as in Ventus Kaido, they're back themselves. So they didn't go much further than you all went, based on that time frame.
Do we know where the Veritas are from, where they came from in their ships? Like, where in the world they would be originating?
Yeah, you would know the Veritas are from one of the other regions up there. And none of the three warring factions are from the Celestis region. The Veritas themselves would be like out at the Darag region, and of course the Forsworn and the Nautilus shards in the other parts of the world as well. So they're coming from a pretty long ways away, like a couple weeks of travel to get here. Stormcape is very isolated from basically the rest of Senta, mainly in the Celestis region, particularly because of the Annam Range, the mountains to the west, and then the Tyler's Glade that is nearly untransfer. You can't safely navigate it in any means because of its nature, the expedited growth and the creatures there within. So they're coming a long way to get here. So clearly, like, they're here for a reason, and it's probably pretty important the reason that they're here.
I mean, the only thing I could think is they're coming here to make some kind of deal with the city. The giants are starving, so they went out to the giants. People were giving them food, and stuff at some point in time. So I think the giants might have something to do with it, like they have the ability, maybe that's where the resources are, maybe that's where the Zillium is, and they're trying to make some kind of deal. I don't know that that's what I would think would be an evil.
And where do we know is the closest deposit of Zillium to Stormcape?
You know of no Zillium deposit in the Celestis region.
Okay.
So you're northeastern corner of the world, where Stormcape is at the northeastern almost tip of Senta, basically. In this quarter of the world, the deposit isn't here. Obviously, the where the latest one was discovered 8 centuries ago, 848 years ago, right? The beginning of this era would be the kickoff of the Third Middle War. Whether that is immediately disclosed to normal people, normal sentients in the world, that would probably be something tried to kept best under wraps by these corporations and whomever is controlling it. Now, I will say you each do know that the Storm's Herald does have a foreign correspondent journalist. You might find information within the newspaper related to other areas of and other things that are going on within Senta, as it's global news that certainly still would get reported here. Obviously, a much slower and drip feed of information to circulate from the rest of the world back to Storm's Herald. By the time it gets here and printed in an issue of Storm's Herald, probably outdated by a number of months, even perhaps. But maybe even looking at some back issues, you might be able to glean more of what has been going on further away from Stormcape, now that you have a reason to take more of an interest in it.
Can I make a roll to see if I recall anything that Halcrook has read that maybe would spring to mind to give me any clues?
And/or we can, I think Opal would know because her parents are avid readers.
The next edition of the Storm's Herald comes out tomorrow, or it should. Maybe we pay attention to that.
Why don't you each give me, again, if you believe your character would semi-regularly be reading the Storm's Herald, and
I wouldn't be reading, but I'd hear from the parents at the dinner
sure,
table.
then you can give me a history check. Then absolutely. Any of you that thinks your character would have some insight to that, please go ahead and do that.
My history is 19, so
Halcrook got an 18.
Okay, well, very good.
Kylie doesn't read the paper.
Both of you would recall that probably maybe 12 years ago or so, it would seem that main control of the Zillium deposit, the latest one being actually in the Darag region, which is the region directly south of the Celestis region. So it's still hundreds of miles away, but relatively close in the scale of the world to the region in which Stormcape is located. That the basically main control of it always is vying for, during one of these wars, it's not strictly about territory being captured or actual ground troops fighting each other. Obviously there's more corporate espionage to it as well, and obviously backdoor deals amongst this kind of trifecta of large corporations. One can't go full in on taking out the other without being swept by the third one, kind of thing, right? So that's why the three of them maintain this balance, and oftentimes it's beneficial for one to cut a deal, temporary or otherwise, with another of their enemies, essentially. But the last that you recall reading about the strict control of this deposit, again, in an undisclosed area within the Darag region, which doesn't really narrow it down very much, but it was controlled by the Nautilus Shard. They had essentially captured this mine in which it was discovered, and was at the time toppled by the Veritas. Essentially this, again, vying for strict control of basically pulling the Zillium out of this location of which it was discovered. And since then, that seems to have been the status quo. There hasn't been an article published within the Storm's Herald for probably about 2 years touching on the war. As just having, Senta history, perhaps maybe not Rumpke in his current state. But these mineral wars like stretch on for centuries. So it's literally generations of these corporations that vie for this control. And whether or not that it more or so amounts to the duration of one of these Xilium deposits being completely excavated and just tapped out. I mean, as soon as the resources, dried up, well, then there's really no reason to continue the conflict in the same way, outside of the more like corporate espionage that is always going on, even in times of quote unquote peace. So that's what you think. You believe that the Veritas, as recently as a dozen years ago, had taken full control of this particular deposit, and that type of gap between activity, like, it's not unusual in a mineral. Again, just you're thinking of, when you think of the long living races, obviously it's very different from perhaps like a half orc race. Obviously half orcs have the lifespan of a human, a typical human, really. So to a race like Hellcruck, or a person like Hellcruck, that maybe seems like a long time, but in the larger scale of the majority of long lived races, that's just a week's worth of time passing if you live for 800 years, kind of thing.
Okay, I would share that information, that opinion.
Yeah. Okay, so where does that leave us?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think all we really did was we drove up, we verified the Veritas. There are more ships here, right? They've obviously they're not in secret anymore. They're out in the open, and they're probably making some kind of deals. But I don't know if we can do anything about that at this point. Apart from going out a day away to see if there's something happening out there with the Veritas and the Giants or whatever, which we can assume that's already taken place and they're back.
Yeah. Why don't we work under the assumption that Veritas could be getting this green stupor, and we continue to investigate the garbage dump, whatever it's called, depository, and sort of just like track the production, I guess, the distribution,
If we're back on that track, then we need to go to the arcane place, right, to try to get more information.
Yeah, or keep researching to help me figure something out. I have 20 more hours left. So like if we each do 8, we could finish a week's worth of research in one more day if all 4 of us research.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Well,
but that only helps me with the Rumpke problem. Well, who knows what Seychardel.
No, Kylea.
It's okay if she learns about giants at this point. Well, there's not much going on here. We just know there's more of them.
Yeah, and I think this is more evidence that there's something to that vision that you had, or dream, or whatever we're going to call it, but I think there's something going on with that map you drew.
Should we go find where they hang out and just, have a good time tonight and see what the paper says in the morning? Get some fresh eyes?
Yeah, maybe we go back and do some research or something, and I might stop and see this guy I talked to, Frederick Kick. He's a cleric guy. He told me about this god stuff. Maybe
could he help you with your illness, with your withdrawal?
I don't know. I never really believed in that kind of stuff. So, but now I don't know.
Religion or drugs?
I believe in drugs.
If we stay up late, we could get a lot of research done tonight. At least, well, even 3 of us, I guess, while he goes to the cleric. Or Rumpke, I'm worried about you. You're not.
I'm okay.
You're not
all
right.
I'm just tired.
No, you're not right. You're really not.
I agree with Opal. I'm worried about you too, Rumpke. We don't know what lies ahead of you if this withdrawal keeps getting worse.
Why don't you come with me to the see the guy, the cleric guy?
Okay, yeah, I can do that, but I think Opal has a point. It might be worth us investing some time into research. Maybe she can make a breakthrough and snap you out of this withdrawal.
Yeah. You guys go do that. We'll go talk to this cleric guy and then come and hook up with you at the library. Try and knock this out.
We'll meet you there too. We want to just go look at the castle.
Okay.
I don't really want to go alone. Can I go with you?
Yeah, and I worry about the two of you going. Maybe all four of us could go.
But
Sounds like nobody trusts anybody.
No, I just feel like we're being targeted and we're not in our right minds.
we're not.
Well, like I am, but also I'm just...
Yeah, Kylie, but Opal won't be in any trouble. She's pretty small. She can maybe just slip in without everyone knowing
It's
she's
not
there.
her size. That's the problem.
Well, it's not my hair. My hair's gone.
Yeah, what's the problem? She's been there.
Okay, well, if we make it quick, it probably would be okay. Just don't get into anything that you're not supposed to.
I mean, I already looked for clues in his office and couldn't find crap.
What?
Yeah.
What? Oh my goodness.
There's like nothing sus in there at all.
Let's go by the castle and we can see that there's no spooky people there, and then we can go back to the library.
Well, he didn't say they're in the castle. They're kind of like on his map. They're like outside the castle.
Oh, so now you believe in the map?
Well, you know, Kylie,
Well, let's go look around the castle then.
inconclusive, but evidence is pointing to a different opinion than my own.
Kylie starts walking towards the Heidi entrance.
I just don't like fully splitting up. I don't know. I'm being nervous right now. As Elena, I'm being
I get it.
nervous.
I think it's smart.
All right, so ladies to the castle, gentlemen to seek religion. Let's start with Kylie and Opal. So what's the plan? You just want to go and kind of look around and make sure everything is kosher here, or what?
Want to look around outside the castle first, because Kylie is fairly certain there's nothing inside the castle. So just look around, look for any kind of like, I don't know, like a sewer entrance that somebody could walk into and hide in, or some kind of rundown building that looks like maybe it's been lived in recently or something.
Okay, so you want to spend some time basically investigating the other structures within the general vicinity of the castle.
Yes.
The vicinity of the map location.
Well, and obviously, like, the castle resides at the very top of a hill within the desolate domain, so the other structures are kind of separated from it, kind of at the base of this elevation. Sure, why don't you both of you give me some investigation checks here as you're looking around?
17.
Kylie is fairly certain she's not going to find anything. She got an 8. 10.
Let's go 10 feet further and do it again.
Okay, so I'd say you probably spend maybe the better part of an hour kind of moving from building to building, looking for exactly the same things you described, basically, any type of entrance or signs of inhabitants within the desolate domain. And even with Opal 17, you don't find any signs of anything that seems that is out of the ordinary. I mean, perhaps, obviously, you know, Kylie failing to kind of detect some things, but perhaps with Opal pointing out, "Oh, Kylie, what's this? Does this mean anything?" And basically, you can confirm, like, well, these are just kind of, you know, the general traffic of the kids. Like, you don't see anything, you don't find anything that would suggest anybody but Zemo's children coming and going around this section of the desolate domain.
See? We told you. There's nothing here.
I mean, we could ask the kids.
They won't know anything.
They come to and from. They might have seen something.
If they had, they would have reported it as Alamo. And everybody would know.
Should we make sure he's actually out of town, or should we just go to the library?
If we were told he's out of town, or he doesn't want us here, so we should just go to the library.
Has he ever lied about being out of town?
Not to us.
Not that you know of.
Same difference.
So if we go to the library, what are you going to research, huh?
Giants.
What do you think about me hiring a research assistant, or is that, like, too dangerous?
What if we hire a research assistant for the giants, and then we can help you with the flowers? Because that's less suspicious.
Maybe. It's 50 gold, I think, to pay someone off, probably. Like, at least 50.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You do that? I mean, with our little fund, you gave me money. We can use that.
Yeah, we can do that.
So, back to researching then for the two of you.
Yep.
And you would like to hire a research aide then?
If there's an ability to split their research between the two, that makes the most sense, because we already both have like half, like 16 and 20 out of 40 hours, right?
Yeah, but you don't want to incur risk on
The flower.
the flower being
Yeah.
discovered by other people and being like, hey, why are they? I think it makes sense.
Okay.
Anyway.
To remind you of your options, you can pay 15 gold to have somebody contribute 8 hours to that 40 for the day. Or you can pay 50 to get a guaranteed piece of information at the end of the work week. Now, nothing contributes to the 40 in that regard. So if you want to add extra hours and basically stack up hours, then it's the 15 gold option. And there's nothing stopping you from hiring more than one of those either. You need 24 more hours. So if you went and hired 3
people to research shrine.
for 45 gold, you would have a 45% chance of some complication at the end of the 40-hour period.
And then what's the chance if we pay 50?
50%.
Pretty
And a
freaking
guaranteed.
It's
Pretty
equal to the amount of gold you spent, the percentage.
Are you guaranteed to get a thing if you were to do the thing where you pay 3 of them and then you...
No. So you're only guaranteed one piece of information with the 50 gold pieces. That's in addition to whatever you might roll with your research roll. So do you want the time, or do you want the guaranteed time or the guaranteed info?
I think we go guaranteed info, yeah, Kylie?
Yeah. On the giants. We're paying for the giant information. Not,
We're paying
not
for the
flower.
giants. You help me, that brings us to 36 hours out of 40. Like,
Okay, but
fairly
again, to be
close.
clear, the 50 gold aid doesn't do anything to contribute to that 40 hours. It adds nothing to the 40 hours.
Right.
So you can still hire them, but you're still going to be at the 16 of 40 hours for the giant research. One of you would still need to be doing something in regards to giant
Can
research.
I pay the 50 and hire an aide?
Absolutely. You can get both for sure. Absolutely. And look, if you're not worried about any complication in regards to giant information, then you could theoretically pay 95 gold to get the 24 hours you need and a guaranteed piece of information, in addition to whatever you might happen to roll.
Kylie is telling Opal we're going to pay 50 for information, and on the side, hire enough people to get the 95, to hire 3 people
Big
to also...
spender.
But, like, so the 50 is going to come from Opal's
Okay.
part, and then Kylie on the side is going to spend the 45 herself to get 3 people to look into it more.
Okay, now, Emily, you and I had a off-mic conversation. I was asking you exactly what type of research into the giants you were looking for. Are you looking into giant folk in general, or would you like to specify the relationship of giant folk to Stormcape?
Giant folk to Stormcape, specifically the giant folk that are outside Stormcape. Like, any information on them.
Okay, so basically you're looking into historical events of Stormcape. And would that include giants? That's what you're focusing on?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so then just to preempt that, that's not going to be gleaning any specific information about like the ordering of giant folks and their hierarchy, like that kind of stuff. If that's what you're interested in, then the general studies of giant folk is what you would get in that regard. But if you're looking at specifically how they're involved with Stormcape and everything that happened
Yes.
there, everything
Yeah.
you can find on that, okay.
That's what I want.
All right, so we got total of 95 gold being spent, unbeknownst to Opal.
Well, once I see all these 3-4 people
won't see them.
researching.
You won't
Are
see
you
it because
sure?
we're in the flower section, not the giant section. They're just people that work at the library moving around doing
But
stuff.
like,
you wouldn't realize who
schmooze
they
them
are.
and talk to them at some point. I didn't witness any of that.
Oh, I'm going to do it on the side.
And the flower section and the giant section are everybody knows those are opposite ends of the library.
You might run into each other at the giant flower section.
There is a bit of crossover, yeah. There's always crossover. Okay, and then the two of you are going to try to put in like 8 hours towards Mineralis.
Yeah.
So this guy I talked to before, Frederick Click, was where I went to say, what does this amulet mean? And he told me it was Clanidin, right?
Yes, so you, after the death of the Veritas member in the ring, this was something that kind of happened in downtime. You did visit this priest of Lathander named Frederick Click. He is a middle-aged elf. He has golden shoulder-length hair and gold eyes. And he told you basically 3 things he was able to tell you. Was kind of, because again, he doesn't worship Clangeddin, he worships Lathander, which is kind of the god of birth and renewal. One of the 3 major deities that are worshipped within Stormcape City. And they're one of the 3 major temples that are also located in Stormcape. But he was able to tell you that the crossed axes, the symbol, the tattoo on your arm and that you have around your neck on the chain, they are the cross axes. They have names. They're Giant Bane and Goblin Bane. He told you that Clangeddin is known as the father of battle, and that it is said that Clangeddin likes to sing before and during and after battle. Now that obviously resonates with you based on the vision you had. You were drawn to him through his song of battle, and there always being somebody to fight. So like that rings true to you immediately. We're kind of recalling the conversation that you had with Frederick. So you know where to find him. You would simply go to the Temple of Lathander. So that's not a problem. You would go to the Burrow, which is the same district in which the Stoneworks and the Peaceable Patriot headquarters are. I don't know if you have any thoughts of perhaps making a detour before you get to the temple, or maybe deal with that after, depending what happens.
I think we'll deal with that after, yeah. This is all still fresh in my mind.
So you can approach, the Temple of Lathander is kind of off of Lathander Lane, kind of the western edge of the Diamante within the borough, very aptly named. And again, Rumpke's been here. He knows exactly where to go. You can easily find Frederick Click, amongst the pews and into the sanctuary. You see him, he's perhaps lighting some candles at raised days.
I sort of give him a wave and sort of give him shake my hand like, I'd like to talk to you kind of thing. Bring him forward. There he is. That's the guy. That's the guy I talked to before. It's Frederick, I think.
And you see he gives you a kind of a wave, and then, just quickly finishes up what he's doing here. Lights a few more candles, kind of waves out his like incense stick here, places it in a little holder of sand as the smoke kind of drifts up to the ceiling of this large temple. And like these, again, the main deities here within Stormgate, like their temples are enormous compared to some of the other smaller temples within the borough. Again, you all know that all forms of worship are welcome within Stormcape, and you're not looked down upon if you worship somebody other than perhaps the Lathander, Timora, and Millar. Those are the 3 main deities of Stormcape, and again, those are really the only main deities worshipped within Stormcape because those are the main deities worshipped by the founding families upon their arrival here in Stormcape and founding the city. And Frederick will kind of, as he finishes up, he kind of just slips, he's got his hands inside of his sleeves, essentially, like together, clasped in front of him. And he almost like, he's clearly very graceful, as most elves are, but it's almost as if he like glides across this temple floor towards you. And he greets you, clearly, obviously recognizes you, Rumpke. Hello, child. Pleasure to see you again.
Hi. Thank you. Good to see you again too. I need your guidance. I need some advice.
Of course.
I remember last time we were talking, you told me about the father of battle, the Clangeddin, and then what the symbol meant. I sort of reach up and grab my amulet. I've been visited by him, and he has given me some cryptic messages. I don't, I didn't really know if I believed this, but it was so real that I feel that he's tried to reach out to me, and what I need to know is, how do I do this? Can I contact him? Is that the way it works?
You've been given a vision, you say?
Oh, yeah.
You've been contacted directly by a deity.
I saw him. He talked to me.
That's
He
extraordinary.
slapped me.
He is the father of battle. Perhaps that is fitting amongst his followers. Now, since your visit here, I was very curious about this Clangeddin Silverbeard, and I did do some of my own digging in an attempt to help you perhaps gain more information in the event that you did return, and I'm glad that you have. He kind of motions to Hellcrook. I see you've brought someone with you. Hello. I'm Frederick Click.
I didn't introduce my friend here. This is Hellcrook.
Yes, hello, Mr. Click. It's a pleasure to meet you.
And you as well. Tell me, have you been touched by Clangeddon as well?
No, not me. I'm on a bit of a different spiritual journey myself.
Well, I'm not surprised that you haven't experienced the same things as your friend here. If you please follow me, accompany me back to the rectory. I'll show you. I've found a particular text that may prove enlightening. And he will begin to glide to the back of this sanctuary. You see, there's just a door kind of set in the back wall behind this altar and this huge statue of Lathander. He just doesn't even look back. He just moves, expecting you that you'll follow.
Yeah, we'll follow.
Stepping into this kind of back room, there's clearly you're into the living quarters of some of the priests here, right? And there's a small study there's a number of bookshelves with religious texts lining them. And he'll kind of pull you to, motion you to sit at one of the tables here. There's a number of seats surrounding it. So you can each have a seat here. And he goes to one of the shelves here, just one finger kind of running along the spines of these books before he finds what he's looking for. And he'll pull out this large, 3-inch thick book, and blazon on the front of it, immediately, Rumpke, you recognize a portrait or a drawing of Clangeddon Silverbeard. On the cover itself, the beard seems to be inlaid silver, actual metal, gold leafing, but silver leafing to color in this god's beard. And he kind of puts it down in front of you, and he opens it, starts flipping pages. I've uncovered a number of factoids about Clangeddon. And it seems he is the primary dwarven war god. Perhaps your connection must be related to war or battle in some way. It seems that all dwarves who live a life of conflict worship Clangeddon Silverbeard.
I mean, when I came here, I didn't remember who I was. He called me Olmok. Is that... I don't know... I lost my memory, and it's all coming back to me. And I remember these visions I've been seeing. I saw war. I saw battle. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yes. It is said that Clangeddon watches and surveys battles in his name from his mountain fortress. And he himself is said to both hate and be hated by giant folk pantheon of gods and the giant folk worshippers alike. And on the battlefield, perhaps a battlefield much like you saw, his worshippers, they often hear Clangeddon singing battle hymns to them, rallying and offering strategic tips amongst battle if you listen to the lyrics closely enough. It's fascinating.
Yeah, he was singing when I saw him. And my tats, they glue. They were glowing and also I have this ability to burn things and to heal myself.
Well, you have clearly been endowed with some amount of powers by this god. You're perhaps a cleric or maybe a chosen paladin is more apt for a god of battle. Perhaps you could utilize this last bit of information, but on the battlefield itself, his worshippers are often heard uttering their own frantic prayers and songs to him amidst the fray in an effort to be looked upon by Clangeddon himself, by offered favor in battle itself, in the moment, in the heat of it. Are
you saying for me to reach out to him, I gotta sing?
That is a distinct possibility. I suppose my next question for you was if you would like to join our choir here at the Temple of Lathander. I suppose that is a no.
I'm a baritone.
And he's continues to flip pages. Flipping pages as he's speaking. He's just flipping pages to relevant passages that he clearly has dog-eared some of the pages, and it was flipping throughout this huge tome. And he flips open to this depiction of an altar Clearly, again, an altar of Clangeddin. It's just a large statue on this raised platform, and the statue in the picture looks exactly like you saw him in your vision, in your hallucination, whatever it was. As you peer into it, it's like enraptured. You're enraptured by it, and Frederick's voice like starts to kind of drown out. And Hellcruck, you notice like Rumpke almost like he stops blinking, like he goes glassy-eyed, staring at this picture, almost like surreally still. And Rumpke, you find yourself suddenly standing before this altar of Clangeddin. There's the massive stone statue towering above you. And in this space, this sanctuary you're standing in now, it's filled with onlookers seated in like rows of pews, very much like the sanctuary, like the temple that you just walked through, kind of set up in a similar fashion. And you see amongst these numerous people that they're all dwarves here, except for one. You see Happy sits in the front row, and he's waving frantically at you, pointing to a dwarf sitting next to him. And a dwarf you've seen before in past visions, a dwarf who calls you brother. The dwarf who gave you Clangeddin's mark tattooed on your wrist after you earned it in battle. And a name like forms on your lips as as Happy is pointing to him, and you are whispering to yourself, Volmic, brother. And your gaze falls upon more seemingly familiar faces in this front row, like timed perfectly with Happy pointing at each of them. And as he points, you're staring at them. Wermac, brother. Elsie, sister. Ruspin, father. Olivia, mother. Jarline, wife. And you're approached, like all this is like thundering through you, like you're realizing information that you knew you had, and you've uncovered it. A priest of Clangeddin approaches you. He is clad in very sparkling chainmail, a similar style armor that the statue of Clangeddin himself is depicted wearing, and that you saw again in your vision. And he's carrying a sword, and it is elegant. It is clearly like a ceremonial weapon, not something that you would use in battle. And he approaches you, and clearly you're in the middle of some type of ceremony being conducted. And this priest, also a dwarf, approaches you, beckons for you to kneel. He takes one of your hands, grabs you by the wrist, and takes his hand in front of the two of you now, and he slices your palm with this sword, and then kind of anoints the blood onto each of your shoulders, and then to your forehead as it kind of drips from this blade. And the statue of Clangeddin, like the beard portion of it, begins to glow, and then the whole room is engulfed in this light as this priest anoints you with the favor of Clangeddin. And then suddenly you're back at the table staring at this book.
I grab Hellcruck's arm and I look over at him. I go, I know who I am.
Wow, another journey through the mystical city of Stormcape has come to an end. But before we bid adieu, let's extend our heartfelt thanks to our musical enchanters, Tabletop Audio and Sarastro Music, for painting our adventures with melodies as luminous as a freshly distilled flask of starlight. And to all you splendid patrons who keep our cauldron bubbling with support over at Patreon, you're the real magic makers behind the scenes. Oh, and speaking of magic making, don't be a stranger in our Discord realm. Join us, mingle, and maybe even concoct a bit of mischief along the way. Last, but certainly not least, dear listeners, don't take that invisibility potion. Spread the word, rate us, review us, and let your friends know where to find the best tales this side of the material plane. May your gears turn smoothly and your inventions never rust. Happy adventuring!
This has been a Sounds of Steel production.